I have.
Excellent. All right. Well, welcome everyone to our wsTOOLS webinar today. And we are focusing on void maintenance or void maintenance invoice, whichever name you want to call it. I didn't name it. This tool is brand new. It's just hot off the shelf coming out today. For the first time, we're going to talk about it in public. And so excited to do that today. For those of you that know Void Reopen, very similar to that in the sense of Void Reopen allows you to void an invoice after it's been posted into receivables, and it'll void the receivable portion, as GP does that. But Void Reopen also allows you to reopen the service call and re-invoice that invoice again. So this void maintenance is very similar, except for it's on the maintenance side, your maintenance invoices. So again, it'll have you post it through to receivables and go to the void window, which is the posted transaction window, and it gives you the capability to, just like in GP, say you want to void that transaction, but then again, we'll ask you an additional question about, do you want to void it in service? And if you say yes, then we'll go and update the service tables and get all of that data reversed back out so you can re-invoice it like nothing happened. So very cool. So excited to share that with you. Do you want to talk about our customer conference though? That's coming up here in November, mid-November, and we have multiple pieces to the customer conference. So our first 2 days are all about Key2Act, and so we have sessions there on tool topics, and I'll be honest, we'll roll out some new tools there as well on both GP and Key2Act. But the first 2 days are Key2Act topics, and so if you have those that are working with Key2Act, have them sign up and come to those days, as well as then Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday are also all about GP. And so if you have people in your company that do more of the operations, more service or job cost, they could come for the first part of the week, or if you have those that are more in the GP world, they can come to the second half of the week. And more details on the link there at iscorp.biz/GPUC. And again, there is enrollment for single people, there's enrollment for groups, and so and even unlimited. So you can register, whoever in your whole company wants to attend. Check out the details there. Also, hot off the press is we have added GP sessions called 101s. So they're like the basics of modules, basics of GL, of payables, receivables. And so those would be great for, let's say, new users that you brought into your company that you want to help bring up to speed, as well as for some of us who sometimes just need a refresher. Kind of dig back in of, okay, what report should I be printing? How does this flow? Some of the basic functionality. Again, it's just kind of a time frame for you to get your hands on that data and walk through that with somebody who can help educate you on how all those things should function. So fun stuff. Again, it's a virtual conference. Check out the link and that will get you to the registration as well as give you more details if you're just looking for more information at this point. All right, well then let's get back in to our void maintenance tool. So as I mentioned earlier, this is really meant to speed up that process where you've done a maintenance invoice, you've posted it all the way through accounts receivable, and you found out that it was either the wrong dollar amount, you need to give somebody a credit, and to have that much on the invoice. What this allows you to do is, instead of saying, okay, I got the invoice in, now I need to go back and update my billing schedules and put in a credit memo so I can process a credit memo, process that all the way through my system, and then come back in, update the billing schedule for the invoice, process that maintenance invoice, and away you go. We're here if you have a maintenance invoice that you've processed and you've determined, yep, that was the wrong dollar amount, I need to void it and start over. That's what void maintenance is all about. And it takes care of that kind of that long process of doing the credits, updating those billing schedules, those type of things. The other 3 bullets here on the slide just kind of highlight what or how it works. Second bullet point points out, again, it's that receivables posted transaction maintenance window where you do your voids today in receivables, the exact same place. That's where you're going to go. in order to select the document that you need to void, and then have, again, that additional question that we talked about earlier, where it'll come up and ask you if you want to update service. You can still say no to updating service as well, and then it'll just update receivables as it does today. Where if you say yes, again, it'll update your receivables tables. And that's what the third bullet point gets into, is it will come to the receivable tables and actually remove your voided invoice from invoice history. It'll remove the posted information on your billing schedule. And lastly, update the totals on your contract. And so we're going to walk through all this in our demo, but I just want to again highlight that it's actually taking care of all that information, all that cleanup for you. And a new thing that we're excited to say is we also are going to be storing your voided invoice in a new history table that you can view in a smart list. So like if you're like, I have this transaction that got posted all the way, to GL, then got voided in receivables, and if you wanted to see the information that was stored also in maintenance history, you can see that now in this new smart list or in a new SQL query, in the new table. So again, lots of fun functionality. So let's jump over to our demo. And one thing I want, while I'm switching over here and bringing over my screen, is, so Sandy is watching for questions. So if you do have any questions, make sure you put those into the question pane there, and she'll be making sure I know about them.
Yep, I will.
As we go through this. So Sandy, you just jump in if you need to. I know sometimes I get on a roll, and so I'll be sure to check as well. Can you guys see my GP screen, Sandy? Can you see it?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Well, let's take a look at a service contract here. Let me pull one up. And I gotta get things coming to the right windows. Sorry about that, the right monitor. For some reason, everything's opening on the other one here. All right, so here's my maintenance contract. And I have done an invoice already and sent it all the way through, but I wanna just pull up the contract and show you that. So here in the billing schedules, I did post in $100 today, as you can see. Technically in the month of May of 2027, again, I'm in sample data. And you can see that listed here. For invoice history, again, it was the one for 5/1/2027, and it's going to be document 75. So you're going to see me talk about document 75 as we get into voiding. So invoice was $100. Okay, everybody sees that. The other piece that you can see, I just want to point out before we do our void here, is when we get into our revenue cost window down here on the bottom, you'll see a billed. And right now it's saying we've billed $400 for this contract. And the reason I point that out is you're going to see a change as we go through this process. All right, so that's what everything looks like to start with. So then let's go into our posted transaction window and do our void. And as I mentioned earlier, that is under receivables. We're going down here to posted transactions. And our customer was 201. Not sure if you guys caught that earlier. And we're going to use the lookup, and we said it was invoice 75. So let's go ahead and select that one. And again, posting your transaction, you pick the void date and posting date. And we'll go ahead and select void. And here's the new question. Do you want to void in service management? And as I stated earlier, so if you select no, it'll work just like it works today and only update receivables and general ledger. But if you say yes, it'll still move forward with the changes to receivable and to general ledger, but it will also update those tables that we talked about from a service maintenance perspective. Your maintenance history, your billing schedule, as well as your contract bill information. So we're going to say yes. And that's all there is to voiding. So let's go ahead and we'll print this journal to the screen, but we'll cancel out the others. I know you users, you should always print those, but just in my demo, I'll show this. All right, so here we have service invoice 75 showing that I'm voiding, right? It's backing that out. So we'll have that posted. One other note for those of you that are using Avalara, there's also some changes in Avalara that will take care of updating the cloud for you now when you void service invoices, and we're also adding in maintenance invoices as well. So if you use Avalara, please reach out to us and make sure that you have the latest and greatest, and so you get those updates too when you do those voids. All right, Sandy, any questions or should I keep going?
No questions so far, so keep going.
All right, I do see a little smiley face in the question.
Yeah.
I do know what that's all about. And that's from Jim. Thank you for the comment. And I'm sure Jim is saying, thank you for the voided history information, because Jim and us have talked about that for the void reopen product as well, which is coming too. And so, yeah, it's going to have that. And I'll show you that smart list too that you can generate and see that data and keep track of it. So cool. All right, so we're back onto our maintenance contract here, and we're going to take a look at those same windows that we looked at earlier. So it's kind of a quiz for you. No, I'm just kidding. So we're into the maintenance invoice history, and you'll notice our service invoice 75. Do you guys remember? It was here for $100, and now it is gone. Because again, it reverts back to prior to the transaction happening. So that's gone. Let's take a look at billing schedule. Again, here, it was this second line here for the 5/1. It had the posted date in there and then period 5/2027 as well as the bill information. Again, that's been cleared out and reversed. And then the other piece I wanted to show you was the revenue and cost. And if you remember, this billed amount said it was $400, and now we've backed it down by that $100 that we voided and brought it back down to $300. So at this point, you are ready to, if you needed to change the invoice amount, change your billing schedule and redo that invoice, you're starting kind of back where you were prior to doing it. So that's that piece, but I do know that some of you want to see that smart list. So let's get that smart list open here. Let me bring it over to the other screen. Here it comes. Here, let me do this so it's not so big. All right, and what I did was just create a smart list using Smart List Builder. I should say Smart List Designer because it's right out of the box. And I created a view here that can show my voided MC invoices, and it's coming from our history table. And you can see right here, this was the transaction that we just voided. I've been playing a little, so I have a few others out here, but service invoice number 75. You can see the RM number. There's also additional fields besides what's stored, and it's the SV00564 table that we're making the copy of. But we've added in here, and I'm going to just slide over here towards the end. I know it's going by here, but we've added in some voided dates so we can keep track of that information. So like if you did the invoice 1 month and you needed to void it another, like the month after, you can keep track of that. And again, those dates are in receivable, but if you also wanted to keep track of that information on the service side, you can see them here as well. And so we have all the dates, the voided dates, and then what system date was it created in here as well. So useful information, I think. At that point, Sandy, are there any other questions?
No, there are not, Cheryl.
Really? Like nobody asked how much is it? It's kidding. Well, and I believe the introductory price is $3,000, but I'll be honest, that's kind of a sales and marketing question. You know, they handle all of our you know, promotions and different things that are going on as well. So I would say if you are interested in this product and you want to see a more detailed demo, walk through anything in more detail, please reach out to our team. Let me go ahead, I'll bring up our slides here. Here is our information, phone number, the email, as well as our website. And the tool is ready to go. I installed it. We're making a few last minute tweaks to the documentation, but that should be ready to go as well. And we'll add the steps in there too of how to make the smart list. So if you're interested in that, you have the steps to do that as well. But again, fun tool, exciting to bring it to market because I know it's very useful. I've helped you guys do your credit memos to back out invoices, as well as then redo an invoice and kind of updating your tables if you needed to do those type of things. So again, I think it's something that all of you can definitely use if you're doing maintenance invoicing. So one last time, anything, Sandy, for questions or comments?
No, let's see. Oh wait, there's one about the GP sessions. This is pretty awesome. Thanks for the info. The GP 101 sessions you mentioned at the beginning, will those be during the Key2Act Day sessions?
So the GP 101s are going to be on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. They're going to be during the GP time slots.
Okay.
Excellent question. Thanks for asking. And then Monday, Tuesday is where we're focusing on the Key2Act topics. And lots of fun stuff there.
Okay, awesome. No other questions at this time.
Okay, I see.
And just a reminder, we'll send out the recording will be made available, I guess.
Right. Yep. All right. Well, thanks everyone for taking the time to hang out with Sandy and I today. We appreciate it. And again, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to IS and we'll get them answered for you. Have a good one. Thanks, guys.
Goodbye.